My father's voice sliced through me like a winter wind. If you and Rachel were men, I could be proud, not watching you squander your potential. As I stood in the radiant glow of my sister's wedding in Napa Valley, Caleb's urgent whisper shattered the moment. "Sophie, we need to leave, now." The chandeliers shimmered, casting golden light over clinking wine glasses, and the air carried the sweet tang of fermenting grapes, but his words sent a shiver down my spine. At 37, a chef crafting my own legacy in Boulder, Colorado, I thought I'd quieted the sting of my father's disdain. Yet here, amid Napa's velvet vineyards, it roared back. Caleb's eyes, my steady haven, flickered with a fear I'd never seen, his gaze darting toward a shadowed corner where my father stood. Guests waltzed, lost in joy, as Rachel glowed in her gown. My mother, Margaret, clutched her pearl necklace, her smile fragile as spun glass. In the car, Caleb's voice wavered. "You have no idea how horrifying this is." My heart lurched. What could unravel this perfect night? The Napa hills, cloaked in dusk, held their secrets as he murmured, "Your father, he's not who you think he is." A truth, jagged and unseen, waited to tear apart everything I cherished about my family. The Napa night faded behind us, but my father's scorn clung like damp fog. In Boulder, Colorado, my world revolved around the kitchen of my small restaurant, where the aroma of fresh sourdough mingled with the vibrant pulse of a town alive with artists and dreamers. As a chef, crafting dishes was my rebellion against the weight of my father's expectations, a way to carve out a space where his words couldn't reach. Yet his voice, sharp, unyielding, had shaped my childhood, always pitting me against my sister Rachel, a brilliant doctor whose every achievement he diminished with the same refrain: "Women could never measure up to men." Rachel and I forged an unbreakable bond, two souls tethered by shared wounds. Growing up, we'd escape to the rocky trails of Boulder's foothills, whispering dreams under starlit skies, vowing to prove our worth. My mother, Margaret, was our quiet ally, her gentle hands smoothing our hair as she wore that pearl necklace, a heirloom from her own mother. But my father's disdain was a constant shadow, his approval reserved for an ideal neither of us could embody. Even my restaurant success, lauded in local papers, earned only a curt nod from him at family dinners. Caleb, my husband, became my refuge, his steady presence grounding me through years of doubt. His laughter filled our cozy Boulder home, where we'd sip coffee on the porch, planning a future free from my father's judgment. Yet at Rachel's wedding, his urgency had cracked that foundation. The memory of my mother's strained smile, her fingers tracing the pearls, haunted me now. Had she sensed the fracture in our family, too? Boulder's community embraced me, from the baristas at my favorite cafe to the farmers who supplied my kitchen. Their warmth contrasted with my father's coldness, yet I couldn't shake the need for his pride. Rachel, too, carried that ache, her late-night calls revealing the toll of his words despite her accolades. We'd laugh, cry, and plan our next adventure, but his shadow loomed. My restaurant, The Hearth, was my sanctuary, its exposed brick walls and flickering candles a testament to my defiance. Locals filled the tables, their chatter weaving a tapestry of belonging. Yet my father's rare visits were marked by critique, my menu too simple, my dreams too small. My mother would deflect, her voice soft, but her eyes betrayed a flicker of defiance I'd only recently begun to notice. Caleb's revelation in the car stirred a restless fear. What had he seen at the wedding, in that shadowed corner where my father stood? The Napa hills had offered no answers, but back in Boulder, the weight of an unseen truth pressed harder. My father's past, his secrets, felt like a locked door I'd never dared to open. Rachel and I had always assumed his disdain stemmed from old-fashioned views, but Caleb's words hinted at something darker. As I kneaded dough in the quiet of my kitchen, the pearl necklace my mother wore came to mind. Its luster, a symbol of love marred by my father's indifference. Had she, too, been hiding something? The thought gnawed at me, a thread pulling at the fabric of our family. Then a late-night text from Rachel lit up my phone, her words trembling through the screen. I found something in Dad's study, a letter addressed to someone named Ethan. Rachel's text burned in my mind as dawn broke over Boulder, the flatirons glowing pink against a crisp sky. The letter she'd found, addressed to an Ethan, felt like a shard of glass in our family's fragile mosaic. My sister's voice trembled through the phone as she described sneaking into our father's study after the wedding, her fingers brushing against a locked drawer. The name Ethan, unfamiliar yet heavy with implication, stirred an unease that clung like the morning mist. Had our father hidden someone from us, a secret tied to his relentless disdain? Caleb brewed coffee in our kitchen, his jaw tight as he recounted what he'd overheard at the Napa wedding. My father, in hushed tones, had spoken to a stranger about securing Ethan's future with the family estate, our Boulder home, the vineyard investments, all of it. The words landed like a betrayal, slicing through years of striving for his approval. Our mother had been nearby, her pearl necklace catching the light, but her silence suggested she knew nothing, or worse, chose to stay quiet. Rachel arrived at the hearth, her eyes red from sleeplessness. Over steaming mugs, we pieced together fragments of our father's past. He'd always been distant, his law practice in Denver a shield against closeness. But this felt deliberate. Rachel clutched a crumpled photo she'd found with the letter. A young man, maybe 30, standing beside our father at a vineyard. The resemblance in their sharp jawlines sent a chill through us. Was Ethan a son, a secret heir my father favored over us? Our mother joined us, her hands trembling as she set her purse on the table. The pearl necklace gleamed against her sweater, a quiet defiance in her posture. When we showed her the photo, her breath hitched. I never knew, she whispered, but her eyes darted away, betraying a flicker of guilt. Pressing gently, we learned of a woman from my father's college years, a brief affair he'd dismissed as nothing. Could Ethan be her son? The weight of this possibility crushed the air from the room. Rachel's voice broke as she spoke of her sacrifices, endless hours in medical school, all to prove herself to a father who saw her as lesser. My own dreams, poured into every dish at the hearth, felt mocked by his preference for a stranger. We vowed to uncover the truth, but doubt gnawed at me. What if confronting our father shattered our family beyond repair? Caleb dug deeper, tracking the stranger from the wedding, a lawyer named Victor Crane, tied to my father's firm. A late-night search revealed Victor's name on a deed transfer, redirecting our family's assets to an Ethan Marshall. The discovery twisted my gut. Our father wasn't just dismissive, he was dismantling our legacy to favor a son we'd never met. Rachel's fingers tightened around her mug, her resolve hardening. "We deserve answers," she said, her voice a blade. Our mother's hesitation grew palpable. At a quiet dinner in her Boulder condo, she recounted my father's obsession with legacy, his bitterness at his own father's rejection for not being man enough. The pearl necklace, she admitted, was her mother's gift, a symbol of strength she'd clung to through his cruelty. Yet her refusal to confront him stung, leaving us to face this alone. Rachel and I planned to search his office, but a call from my father interrupted, his tone icy. "Stay out of my business, both of you." Boulder's vibrant streets, usually a comfort, felt oppressive as we grappled with his warning. The farmer's market buzzed, but my thoughts spiraled. Who was Ethan, and why did our father value him above us? Caleb's hand found mine, his warmth a lifeline, but even he couldn't quell the storm brewing. As we stepped into the hearth that evening, a note slipped under the door caught my eye, its scrawl chilling. "Drop this, or your restaurant burns." The note's thread lingered like smoke in the hearth's warm air, its words searing my resolve. Boulder's morning bustle, vendors hawking kale and honey at the farmer's market, felt distant as Rachel and I huddled in my restaurant's back office. Our father's scheme to favor Ethan Marshall, this unknown son, wasn't just a betrayal, it was a theft of our shared history. Rachel's eyes, usually bright with determination, dulled with hurt as she traced the photo's edges. The young man's face, a mirror of our father's. Had he known all along, or was he as blindsided as we were? Caleb's research uncovered more. Victor Crane, the lawyer, had a history of shady deals, his name linked to a scandal that nearly ruined our father's firm decades ago. The connection suggested a vendetta, not just greed. At a quiet cafe, Caleb showed us an old article about a failed vineyard investment where our father had outmaneuvered Victor, leaving him bankrupt. Could Victor be using Ethan to reclaim power? The thought tightened my chest, but Rachel's voice cut through. "We need to get into Dad's office tonight," she said, her tone fierce despite the fear in her eyes. Our mother wavered when we confronted her again at her condo, the pearl necklace a soft glow against her blouse. Her stories of our father's youth revealed a man scarred by his own father's rejection, driven to prove his worth through a male heir. Yet her reluctance to challenge him, her gaze dropping when we pressed for details, felt like another wound. "I tried to protect you girls," she murmured, but her words rang hollow, her loyalty torn. A public event at Boulder's community center, where our father was honored for his legal work, became our crucible. He stood at the podium praising Ethan as a promising young man who joined his firm, while Rachel and I sat in the crowd, our presence barely acknowledged. The applause stung, each clap a reminder of our invisibility in his eyes. Rachel gripped my hand, her whisper sharp. "He's erasing us." The humiliation burned, fueling our plan to search his office after hours. Sneaking into his Denver firm under moonlight felt like crossing a forbidden line. The sleek office, lined with awards, mocked our struggle. Rachel found a hidden safe, but the lock resisted our attempts. A file labeled Marshall Trust lay open on his desk, detailing the transfer of our family's Boulder home to Ethan. My heart sank. Our childhood, our mother's garden, all traded for a stranger. Victor's signature sprawled across the page, a taunt. Caleb kept watch outside, his texts urgent as security lights flickered. The risk of discovery heightened every sound, the hum of a distant elevator, the creak of a floorboard. Rachel's hands shook as she photographed the documents, her breath uneven. "This isn't just about money," she whispered. "It's about control." Our father's need to rewrite our family's story, to crown a son, felt like a blade twisting deeper. But whose control? His or Victor's? Back at the hearth, we pored over the photos, the trust's fine print revealing a deadline. The assets would transfer in days. Our mother arrived, her face pale, confessing she'd found a key to the safe in our father's coat. Her decision to help, though tentative, sparked hope. Yet our father's voicemail later that night chilled us. "You're digging into things you'll regret, girls. Stop now." His tone, cold and deliberate, hinted at a man unraveling, or a man with allies. Boulder's starry sky offered no comfort as we planned our next move. The community center's warmth, the farmer's market's chatter, all faded against this looming fight. Rachel's resolve mirrored my own, but doubt crept in. Could we face our father without losing our mother, too? As we locked the hearth, a shadow moved across the parking lot, and a glint of metal caught the streetlight. A knife left on my car's hood, etched with the initials VC. The knife's cold glint haunted my dreams, Victor Crane's initials a silent vow of retribution. Boulder's dawn painted the flatirons in hues of amber, but the warmth couldn't pierce the dread settling in my bones. Rachel and I met at a secluded vineyard cafe in Napa, the same rolling hills that framed her wedding, now a backdrop to our unraveling world. Over glasses of Pinot, we pored over the photographed trust documents, searching for cracks in our father's plan. A faded note tucked in the file caught Rachel's eye, a scrawl from our mother dated years before. "Henry, don't let him destroy us." Shock rippled through us. Our mother's words suggested she'd known of Ethan, or at least of a threat tied to our father's past. Memories flooded back, her nervous glances at family dinners, the way her pearl necklace seemed a talisman against unspoken fears. Rachel's voice trembled as she recalled a childhood moment, our mother weeping in the garden, whispering about a mistake our father made. Had she been guarding a secret all these years, not out of weakness, but to shield us? Caleb arranged a meeting with Ethan Marshall at a quiet Boulder park, the air thick with the scent of pine. Ethan's presence, once a mystery, now felt like a key to our father's betrayal. His eyes, mirroring our father's sharp jawline, widened when we showed him the trust documents. "I had no idea," he stammered, his voice raw. Our father had mentored him, funded his law school, all while keeping him in the dark about his true parentage. Ethan was no schemer, just a pawn in a game we hadn't yet mapped. This revelation shifted the ground beneath us. Rachel gripped my hand, her resolve mingling with grief. Our father's disdain wasn't just prejudice. It was a calculated move to elevate a son he'd hidden, perhaps to appease Victor Crane's vendetta. A flashback surfaced, our father at a vineyard gala years ago, his arm around a woman I now realized was Ethan's mother, her laughter tinged with sorrow. Had he loved her or used her to secure his legacy? Ethan's confession deepened the wound. He spoke of letters our father sent, praising his potential while never mentioning us. The hearth's warm brick walls, my haven, felt hollow as I processed this. Our mother arrived, her pearl necklace catching the park's fading light. Tearfully, she admitted finding a birth certificate years ago, naming Ethan as our father's son, but she'd stayed silent, fearing our family's collapse. Her guilt, raw and aching, mirrored our own fractured trust. Boulder's community, from the cafe baristas to the market vendors, rallied around the hearth, their support a lifeline. Yet, Victor's threat loomed larger, his motives unclear. Was he manipulating our father, or was our father complicit in a deeper scheme? Rachel and I planned to confront Ethan again, seeking any clue he might hold. Caleb uncovered a hidden email from Victor to our father, mentioning a final deal set for the vineyard's annual gala, days away. The weight of this truth pressed against my heart. Defiance sparked within. Rachel's eyes burned with the same fire, our bond a shield against the chaos. Our mother's resolve hardened, her hand steady as she offered the safe's key, a small act of rebellion. As we left the park, the pearl necklace gleamed, a beacon of her unspoken strength. But a cryptic voicemail from Victor awaited on my phone, his voice low and menacing. "You're closer than you think, but the gala will end this for all of you." Victor's voicemail echoed like a distant thunderclap, its menace coiling tighter as the vineyard gala loomed. Boulder's crisp autumn air carried the scent of fallen leaves, but my resolve burned hotter, fueled by the truth about Ethan and our mother's quiet courage. Rachel and I strategized in the hearth's dim kitchen, the clatter of morning prep a grounding rhythm. Our plan was bold: infiltrate the gala in Napa, where our father and Victor would finalize their deal and gather evidence to expose their scheme. Ethan, now an ally, agreed to wear a wire, his voice steady despite the risk. Our mother insisted on joining us, her pearl necklace a talisman of newfound defiance. At her condo, she revealed a hidden journal from her early marriage, detailing our father's obsession with legacy after his own father's rejection. Entries hinted at Victor's role, a former friend turned foe, blackmailing our father over the affair that produced Ethan. Her hands shook as she handed us the journal, her apology soft but fierce. "I should have fought sooner," she said, eyes glistening. Her strength, long buried, now anchored our mission. The Napa Gala glittered under a canopy of stars, vineyards stretching into the night like a whispered promise. Guests in elegant attire swirled around tables laden with local wines, their laughter a stark contrast to our purpose. Rachel, in a sleek dress, blended seamlessly, her doctor's poise masking her nerves. Caleb stayed close, his hand brushing mine, a silent vow to protect us. Ethan mingled near our father, the wire hidden beneath his suit, capturing every word. My heart pounded as I watched our father, his smile polished but strained, greeting Victor at a secluded table. Tension crackled when Victor's gaze swept the room, lingering too long on me. The hearth's warmth felt worlds away as I navigated the crowd, my senses heightened by the clink of glasses and the rustle of silk. Ethan's subtle nod confirmed he'd recorded our father admitting to the trust transfer. But Victor's next words, caught on the wire, chilled us. "If the girls interfere, the vineyard's debts will bury them." Our family's legacy, tied to those rolling hills, was a weapon in his hands. A confrontation loomed as Rachel slipped into the gala's private library, where our father kept his records. Using our mother's key, we unlocked the safe, revealing a contract that named Victor as co-owner of the vineyard, a betrayal deeper than we'd imagined. Our father had sold our heritage to settle Victor's old score, prioritizing Ethan's future over ours. Rachel's breath hitched, her fingers tracing the document, her pain a mirror to my own. We photographed every page, but footsteps echoed outside, forcing us to hide behind heavy curtains. Caleb's urgent text warned of Victor's approach. The library door creaked open, and Victor's voice, low and venomous, addressed an unseen ally. "Henry's too weak to stop us now." My pulse raced. Victor wasn't just a pawn. He was orchestrating this to ruin our father entirely. Our mother, stationed at the gala's entrance, texted a distraction plan, luring Victor away with a feigned emergency. Her bravery bought us time, but the stakes soared as we realized Victor's endgame extended beyond money. Escaping the library, we regrouped in a vineyard alcove, the scent of earth grounding us. Ethan's recording revealed our father's regret, his voice breaking as he admitted using Ethan to fix his past. The confession stung, but it humanized him, complicating our anger. Rachel's eyes met mine, her resolve unshaken. "We end this at the gala," she whispered, her hand squeezing the journal. Boulder's community, our haven, felt like a distant dream, but its spirit urged us forward. As we prepared to confront our father publicly, a security guard approached, his badge glinting under the gala lights. Victor's influence, it seemed, reached further than we'd feared. His gruff demand for our IDs felt like a trap, but our mother's voice rang out, calm yet commanding, stalling him. The pearl necklace gleamed, a beacon of her resolve. Then, a faint crackle from Ethan's wire reached us, capturing Victor's chilling aside. If they make it to tomorrow's auction, we lose everything. Victor's words through the wire, his plan hinging on tomorrow's auction, ignited a fire in our resolve under Napa's starlit canopy. The gala's elegance faded as Rachel, Ethan, and I slipped through the vineyard, our mother's distraction holding the guard at bay. Her pearl necklace had become our beacon, a symbol of defiance against the secrets threatening to bury us. In a moonlit clearing, we finalized our strategy: confront our father publicly, expose Victor's scheme, and reclaim our family's legacy before the auction sealed our loss. Rachel's hand trembled, clutching the journal, but her eyes burned with a ferocity that mirrored my own. The gala's main hall pulsed with laughter and clinking glasses, Napa's elite unaware of the storm brewing. Our father stood at the center, his polished demeanor a mask for the man who traded our heritage. Ethan, wire still active, positioned himself near the stage, his face taut with the weight of his role. Caleb's steady presence anchored us, his whispered encouragement a lifeline as we prepared to step into the spotlight. The scent of oak barrels and ripe grapes swirled, grounding this moment in the land we fought for. Rachel took the microphone, her voice cutting through the chatter like a blade. "This vineyard, this family, holds secrets you need to hear," she began, her poise unshaken. Gasps rippled as she revealed our father's plan to transfer our legacy to Ethan, orchestrated by Victor Crane. Ethan stepped forward, his voice raw, admitting he'd been a pawn, unaware of his true parentage. The crowd's murmurs grew, their eyes darting to our father, whose face paled under the chandelier's glow. Our mother joined us, her pearl necklace catching the light as she held up the journal. Her voice, soft yet unyielding, recounted our father's betrayal, not just of us, but of the woman who bore Ethan, a love he'd buried for ambition. She spoke of Victor's blackmail, his thirst for revenge driving this cruel game. The audience leaned in, captivated, as she declared, "My daughters deserve their truth." Her courage, forged in years of silence, electrified the room. Victor surged forward, his snarl barely masked by a forced smile. "Lies from desperate girls," he spat. But Ethan played the wires recording, our father's confession, Victor's threats, all laid bare. The crowd erupted, Napa's vintners and locals whispering in shock. Our father's shoulders slumped, his mask crumbling as he faced the community he'd courted for decades. Rachel's hand found mine, our bond a shield against his unraveling pride. The confrontation peaked as I stepped forward, my voice steady despite the ache in my chest. Holding the photographed contract, I exposed Victor's co-ownership deal, a betrayal of the vineyard's soul. "This isn't just our home," I said. "It's a legacy of resilience, one you've tried to steal." The crowd's applause swelled, their support a chorus of justice. Boulder's spirit, its farmers, artists, and neighbors, seemed to echo in their cheers, a reminder of the community that had always held us. Our father's voice broke as he spoke, his apology raw. "I was wrong," he admitted, eyes meeting ours for the first time with something like regret. He revealed Victor's leverage, a debt from the scandal that birthed Ethan, a shame he'd carried since youth. The admission humanized him, but the pain of his choices lingered. Victor, cornered, fled into the night, his scheme shattered under the weight of truth. As the gala stilled, Rachel and I stood with our mother and Ethan, the pearl necklace a quiet testament to our victory. The vineyard, our family's heart, was safe, for now. But as we embraced, a figure lingered at the hall's edge, unnoticed by the crowd. A woman, her face half hidden, watched us with eyes that held a haunting familiarity, her hand clutching a letter sealed with our father's initials. The gallus fervor faded into a hushed reverence, Napa's vineyards cradling the truth we'd unveiled. Rachel and I stood with our mother, her pearl necklace a soft glow under the dimming chandeliers, a symbol of love reclaimed. Our father's confession had stripped away his armor, leaving a man humbled by his flaws. The crowd dispersed, their whispers of support lingering like a warm breeze, but the weight of our journey settled gently, urging us toward healing. Our mother led us to a quiet corner of the vineyard where rows of grapevines stretched under a silver moon. She spoke of her own mother, whose strength had inspired the necklace, a reminder to endure even when love faltered. Her decision to stand with us, to defy years of silence, wove a new thread into our family's tapestry. Rachel's hand found hers, their shared resilience a balm for wounds long carried. The vineyard, once a battleground, now felt like sacred ground, its soil promising renewal. Ethan joined us, his presence no longer a threat, but a bridge to understanding. He shared his own story of growing up without a father, of our father's mentorship masking a deeper truth. His choice to reject the inheritance, to stand as our brother, softened the edges of our pain. Caleb's arm around me tightened, his quiet pride a steady pulse, reminding me that love could anchor even the fiercest storms. Back in Boulder, the hearth became a haven for reconciliation. Our father visited, his steps tentative, his words measured. He offered to restore our inheritance, but Rachel and I chose a different path. The vineyard's profits would fund a scholarship for women in Napa and Boulder, a legacy of empowerment born from our struggle. Our mother, her voice newfound, proposed naming it after her mother, a nod to the necklace's enduring spirit. The community rallied, from Napa's vintners to Boulder's artisans, their embrace a testament to the power of truth. Rachel and I hosted a dinner at the hearth, tables laden with dishes that told our story. Sourdough for resilience, wine for heritage. Our father sat among us, listening as we spoke of our dreams, his silence a fragile step toward amends. Ethan laughed, sharing plans to teach law, his path now his own. Our mother's condo became a gathering place. Her pearl necklace often passed to Rachel or me during late-night talks. She began painting again, her canvases vibrant with the colors of Napa's hills, a reclaiming of her voice. The scars of our father's disdain remained, but they no longer defined us. Caleb and I walked Boulder's trails, the Flatirons a steadfast backdrop, our love deepened by the trials we'd faced. Standing in the hearth's kitchen, the aroma of fresh herbs rising, peace settled like dust after a storm. The pearl necklace, now shared among us, carried our mother's strength, our sisterhood, and a future we'd forged. Our father's shadow had lifted, replaced by a light we'd kindled together. Rachel's smile, Ethan's camaraderie, and our mother's quiet pride wove a new family, one built on truth and chosen bonds. Boulder's autumn light filtered through the hearth's windows, casting a golden haze over tables where locals savored my latest dishes. The scholarship we'd launched, named for our grandmother, bloomed in Napa and Boulder, empowering women to chase dreams unmarred by doubt. Rachel and I stood shoulder together at its first fundraiser, her laughter mingling with the clink of glasses, a melody of triumph. Our mother's pearl necklace, now a shared heirloom, rested against my collarbone, its weight a reminder of the strength we'd unearthed together. Our mother found solace in her art, her paintings adorning the hearth's walls, each stroke a testament to her reclaimed voice. She hosted workshops for women, her gentle guidance weaving new bonds in our community. Ethan embraced his family, taught evening classes at a local college, his warmth drawing students who saw in him the brother I'd come to cherish. Caleb and I, hand in hand, planned a new menu inspired by Napa's vineyards, our love a quiet anchor in the life we'd rebuilt. The hearth transformed into a sanctuary for stories, where women gathered to share tales of overcoming judgment. Boulder's vibrant spirit, its artisans, its trails, infused these nights, each voice adding to a chorus of resilience. Our father, though distant, sent letters, his words tentative but seeking connection. Rachel and I read them under the Flatiron's shadow, choosing forgiveness but guarding our peace, a balance that felt like freedom. A spring festival in Napa brought us back to the vineyard, its rows lush with promise. Our mother danced with locals, her necklace catching the sun, while Rachel and Ethan led a toast to the scholarship's first graduates. The community's embrace, from Boulder's farmers to Napa's vintners, wove a tapestry of belonging that outshone our father's old disdain. This land, once a battleground, now cradled our shared victory. Standing in the hearth's kitchen, the scent of rosemary rising, a quiet certainty settled within. The pearl necklace, passed among us, carried our grandmother's legacy, our mother's courage, and our sisterhood's unyielding heart. Every woman who walked through my doors carried her own story, her own fight. Who has tried to dim your light? How did you rise? Share your truth, let it spark another's flame, and join us in building a world where every voice shines.